Hello, everyone, and welcome. I would like to tell you a story which is called Consciousness Evolution. During these long weeks of confinement, soaked into planetary stress, anxiety, and discouragement, it occurred to me to write a story that would draw a parallel between what we are currently experiencing with the virus and what happened in the past, particularly in the last 100 years, from the creation of the League of Nations to the present day with the United Nations. This story is called Consciousness Evolution. It is composed of 7 episodes. Photos and drawings are included. A touch of morality is added at the bottom of each episode in a poetic form. A small heart at the end of each page witnesses the evolution of its own purification and radiance according to the progress made in the path towards the development of consciousness. Episode number 1. Cycles repeat themselves. Whether following the emergency of a war or a virus, man has always sought to preserve his own existence, often at the expense of that of his neighbor. He seeks to accumulate material goods, power, and concentrate on the glory he can derive from it to satisfy his insatiable ego. The First World War is an example of this phenomenon pushed to excess. Everyone on earth is concerned about the consequences of such a disaster. Every disaster brings people together in a spirit of solidarity as they try to act together. This kind of experience leads to the creation of the League of Nations, the discovery of an antidote, and so on. Human consciousness is evolving. We start considering human beings in a more global way. Several conventions, treaties are emerging. Convention of Slavery Abolition, Geneva Declaration on the Rights of the Child, etc. Me or you? Me first, of course, and you? Maybe afterwards. If I am in a good mood, you only exist to serve me. Episode number 2. The need to create together in solidarity. The rules of the League of Nations are enshrined in the Covenant, which appears on the first pages of the Treaty of Versailles. Many sections were created to help humanity rebuild itself and share knowledge globally. For instance, the section of intellectual cooperation, which allowed everyone to have access to education. Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, among other eminent personalities, contributed to this important work. The hygiene section, for its part, organized exchanges of doctors throughout the world in order to work together, share knowledge. This led to the creation of the first biological standards and allowed prevention or eradication of certain dangerous diseases. An unprecedented solidarity movement is taking place in the world now in response to the threat of the virus. Strict rules are confining people across the world, but at the same time, Scientists are searching and sharing knowledge and experience to find together a way to help and save lives. You and me? Yes, I can see you now. Come here and let me hold your hand. Episode number 3. We are all concerned. The League of Nations was very successful during its early years. It achieved helping humanity by its creations and togetherness. However, the 1929 economic crisis brought a climate of anxiety, which changed completely the situation. Resignation from many member countries took place. Civil war broke out. Occupation and invasion of other countries were done. Everything was upset and chaotic again. The League of Nations could not prevent the outbreak of World War II in 1939. Delegates went back home. Geneva streets were empty, as was the Palais des Nations. Whether by a thundering war or a silent and invisible viral attack, everyone is affected in their own way. First, people's reaction in the event of a conflict or attack is to protect oneself, to retreat, to go home. Going within is the safest place where one can find peace. I go home. It's too dark outside. I want to be with me, with my inner light. Episode number 4. It is hard to hold on. Despite everything, the League of Nations remained alive during the dark years of war, still operating at the Palais des Nations with a minimum of services, even when being cut off of the world for a long period. People who were not killed on the battlefield could take refuge in their homes. The whole world waited for many years with fervor and hope that peace would finally become a reality. Peace of mind, heart, and soul. All thoughts of the world were concentrated at the same time on one and unique thing: victory. Today, all the inhabitants of the planet Earth must face at the same time a viral problem which affects everyone. Never seen before. There is no escaping to it. Apparently, peace cannot be found only outside. Maybe it should be sought elsewhere? I have discovered my inner space. I am calm, at peace. A glimmer appears. It talks to me, guides me. It knows how to overcome problems. Episode number 5. Victory and change. Then, one day, there is a glimmer of hope. The Allied countries managed to win and succeeded to gain the long-awaited victory. they put an end to the big catastrophe which was created by man and his unconsciousness. The strong willingness of the world to move forward together was born and led to the creation of the United Nations in 1945. League of Nations and United Nations cohabit within the Palais des Nations for 1 year. The League got dissolved in 1946 and passed its legacy and powers to the United Nations. The UN took up the torch and became the instrument of understanding between peoples through peaceful and diplomatic means. It continues to grow and distribute its benefits to the world. Many other international organizations were created, which are flourishing as well. At present, a few countries that have been affected by the epidemic at the very beginning are finally relieved, as the wave of contamination has shifted away. They are no longer in a state of emergency and can come out of their confinement. Can I go out now? Yes, victory has been pronounced. I feel at peace, finally. But for how long? Episode number 6. One law of nature. What goes up must come down, and vice versa. The Palais des Nations feels very lonely without its inhabitants, diplomats, and visitors, which made it feel alive. The library in particular, which exists since the beginning of the creation of the League of Nations, is empty. The trend and movement are reversed. Everyone was forced to go home, but can telecommute from there, thanks to the evolution of technology. All living things are in perpetual motion and rotation in order to maintain their existence on Earth. The atoms that make up matter are always in motion. If motion stops, transformation and end of that structure is near. The ups and downs of existence are inherent of this world of duality. They will always exist. They can be compared to waves on the ocean, which, according to time, change their aspect, form, and intensity. They can carry us from one moment to the next, from the summit of ecstasy to the torments of suffering. I can't see you anymore. Where are you hiding? I'm here, with you, everywhere, all over your screens. But I cannot hold your hand anymore. Episode number 7. We are one, united. The name United Nations intrinsically carries within the desire to unite, to come together as one, particularly when facing adversity, but also in celebration. Paradoxically, in recent weeks, we, human beings, have all returned home. But we are closer to each other, more than ever before. Omnipresence is experienced. thanks to the various technological possibilities at our disposal. We have daily proof of it. We are aware of everything going on in the world as if we were present everywhere at the same time, all united, for better or worse. The ups and downs of existence are an eternal process. Finding a place where these destabilizing effects are lessened is a wise decision. It is the self within, the soul. Inner recollection takes us to the center of ourselves, where, by magic, we discover not only inner peace, but also the universe, the heart of all things. I know and feel that you are here, everywhere, omnipresent. My heart rejoices and beats in unison with yours, with all the heart of the world. We are one